Hello, good morning. Welcome to day 10. Yeah, it is day 10. I hadn't actually done any writing this morning. um, so, I guess we changed the temperature in the condo last night because it had me sweating. But I keep thinking I'm past the vivid dreams because I'll have a night without vivid dreams. But the truth is, the vivid dreams are still ongoing. Not quite as lucid as they were the first couple of ones, but certainly still vivid and certainly have me still flapping around in bed, which is making me sweat. So that hasn't been great. Um, and it's getting me up to go to the toilet a lot, but it's actually not too bad. As far as the video game quitting goes, I've been after having spoken with the counselor and some friends and stuff, I'm still on board with not doing video games. I think people tend to freak out when you make major changes in your life, and I think it also makes them feel a little insecure. I noticed that with my partner, that she felt a little insecure when I was talking about all these changes that I wanted to go through. Like she felt like she had to go through these changes. And as a side note, I wonder if that's the same kind of cultural impetus that's driving the transgender movement, where someone comes out as transgender and the community rallies around them as supportive and, oh, you're so brave, and other people look at it and go, oh, I want that kind of attention. So I wonder if that's not a part of it. I'd be willing to bet that it probably is. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about transgenderism. I'm here to talk about what's going on with me. Working out has been instrumental in keeping my body from losing weight, in keeping my appetite up, and keeping my energy up, and also in keeping my social contact up. The people that I work out with, that constant social contact has actually been really important as part of this process. And so I guess I wanted to sort of make a highlight for that today with regards to things that you can do to help you get past the physical element of withdrawal, whether it's from video games or from marijuana. It even goes back as far as going off of testosterone replacement therapy. Constantly working out 3 or 4 times a week. It's hard, it sucks, but at the same time, that struggle really does bring so many benefits to your life that you can kind of not overturn, but you can normalize out some of the negative effects of the withdrawal from exercising. And speaking to a guy who was a former heroin addict, exercise has been one of the things that he talks about that actually helped him get past the need to be on gear. So I think it's an underrated thing. People talk about it a lot. It's like, when they talk about depression, it's like, well, go outside and walk around. That's a really good piece of advice. But because it's been so thrown out there so many times, people overlook it. I think depressed people in particular overlook it as a way to make themselves feel better. And a lot of it really does come down to those simple fixes, where we're just doing one little thing that makes us feel better about life. And exercise, for me, exercise has proven to be one of those things. One of the things that I've been noticing a lot in the last couple of days is that as the world starts to get clearer, and as my brain starts to disconnect from that feedback loop that comes from video gaming, and particularly stoned video gaming. Oh, excuse me. Needed to take a few deep breaths before I started. Let me forget my point. One of the things that has been very useful, and one of the things that's been standing out, is the need to be very specific about the goals that you set for yourself. When I was baking up all the time and playing video games, my goals were very generic. Like if I look at my to-do lists going back, it was always one line of stuff, and then I would look at it and be like, that doesn't look that important. But I've noticed that as my brain has gotten more clear, I've had to actually write down more specific instructions for what it is that I want to get done, particularly for work, but also for my personal life. And making those goals specific has helped me become more productive because I have a really good idea of what it is that I need to do. Like I read the line and I read the to-do list, and if it's specific and detailed, then I know exactly what I have to do, and so I can get into it very easily. Whereas when it's generic, it's like, okay, where do I start with this? And that where do I start with this, particularly when you're used to getting the snappiness of video games and marijuana, like changing your mood or changing your productivity so fast. I feel like when you make things specific, or rather when you make things vague, that complacency and laziness is exercised there, because you think to yourself, well, it's like, where do I start? And then you think, well, you know where I could start? I could start on the couch playing a game, or I could go upstairs and grab a bottle of lube and just jerk off for fucking 15 minutes. So being specific about what it is that we want to do is really important, and that leads me into the two goals that I talked about. I believe I talked about yesterday. Number one, to set the sights, and number two, to create replacements for the video games. And I've been thinking a lot about both of these. And setting the sights needs to be specific, but so does the creating replacements for the video games. And it needs to be specific to the point where you're actually talking about the books that you want to read, the shows that you want to watch, the activities that you want to do specifically. And so, again, sort of going back to that point, I think it's important when you start to come out of the physical funk of breaking free of these types of addictions, that if you're going to set yourself tasks or goals to accomplish, that you need to be specific so that they are as easy as possible to start. Yeah. Otherwise, I've been feeling pretty good. Again, it's just kind of like a long, slow journey with this. But the personal contact and the setting of the goals and the monitoring of this, I have to say, has actually been very useful. 10 days in now, and I'm still doing this. I'd like to try to keep it going for 90. That's the plan. So anyway, that's all for now. Ka kite anō.